Relationships. Whether you are looking at relationships at home or at the workplace, you have to nurture them. You have to constantly be trying to grow them or at least maintain them. But what happens with those relationships that don't add value and they are diminishing relationships? So if you hang out with your cousin or your neighbor or anybody in your family and you feel shitty afterwards, that's a relationship that needs to be evaluated. On today's episode, I'm going to share with you exactly how we do it at our company, how we cut ties with a relationship without having that emotional tug on your heart be painful for the longest time. I hope I add value into your life, and I hope this tactic and this angle, point of view, will give you something to think about. Let's get into this content. Now, you know what they say, you can't choose your family. And as much as that is very, very true, what you can choose is how much time and energy you allocate to that specific family member. So going back to the cousin, if you've got a cousin that's very negative, constantly bickering, constantly making you feel worse off than before you guys engaged, make sure that you don't give them any time. Just the bare minimum, and also control your state of mind and say, by the way, I don't like it when you do this, that, or the third thing. It's easier with relationships at work. So here's my advice that I'm going to give to everybody on how to manage, grow, as well as cut ties with people that diminish your state of mind and diminish your energy. Okay, first of all, we need to start with assessing the relationship that you have with yourself. You need to go and write down what are your values and principles and non-negotiables. Now these differ because if you are at work, perhaps a non-negotiable is nobody lies to me. If you lie to me, I cut ties with you. Or a negotiable is, okay, this is the rule. I will make an exception based on 1, 2, 3. But you have to go and write them down. For example, we run car dealerships and the salespeople come to me and say, do you think the F&I will be able to give me an answer if I don't have this and this and this documentation or this information? So have you asked her? No. So go and sit down with her and ask her what is a non-negotiable in terms of an F&I, which is very compliant, very strict. It's just next level strictness. They have to protect the company from all legalities. I've asked her this, and this. Okay, what is a negotiable in her world? Okay, she'll be able to consider this. Now we know. You know where not to step away, and you know where you can perhaps be a little bit more flexible. So get into the habit of discussing what are you negotiable on and what are you non-negotiable on with the closest people that you work with. Then you'll better understand yourself and how you can relate to that specific person. When it comes to relationships outside of the workplace, set a specific standard. So, for example, if you're hanging out with your friends, the standard should be between the 4 of us, 1 of us does not drink any alcohol, and if we go out and we have a party or we have a job, we're at a braai, 1 of us remains the designated driver and takes care of the rest. It's a non-negotiable if you drink a drink tonight. That way, all the playing field is level. That way, we know where we stand with each other, and if somebody breaks the rule, there's a clear metric. If this, then this. Lastly, on the metric subject, when it comes to letting go of people at work and in a relationship, a clear metric needs to be set. So for example, if you're doing sales, by the end of this month, if you are not sitting on this amount of calls, this amount of applications, and this amount of deals that you've booked for the month, you are unfortunately going to be demoted from an A player to a B player. If you are already a C player, so you're already in the hottest water that you can be, you know the expectation is this. If it's not met, unfortunately, we're going to have to cut ties. Now, it's more technical when it comes to family members, but you need to have a conversation. If your husband, for example, goes out and drinks and comes home at crazy hours, you need to sit him down. You need to sit her down. You need to sit the family member down and say, from now on, this is a non-negotiable. So if 1, 2, 3 happens, that's the cause. The effect will be this. So in closing, you need to look after your wellness and happiness before you can look after others. So if that person comes home drunk, after you've had the discussion that if this happens, then I'm not going to be able to stick around because it's a non-negotiable rule that you're going to break, and they do break it, you need to have the strength to actually pull that trigger and end that relationship. Because if you don't, you will always have this mistrust within yourself, because every time you say something and you do it, trust is built. Every time you say something and you don't do it, trust is broken. So that's how you manage the relationship, firstly with yourself, and then having the courage to manage it with others. Hope this is insightful, and if it is, the way you say thank you to us is by leaving us a comment, liking, and subscribing to our channel. Thank you very much, take care, and have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.